Have you ever laid in bed at night, just staring at the ceiling, wondering if what you had for dinner is actually helping your body or quietly making things worse? You think to yourself, I've had oatmeal before bed for years, but is that still good for me? Or maybe you skip food at night because someone told you it's better for digestion. But deep down, you're not sure if skipping meals is helping or hurting. You're not alone. As we get older, sleep starts to feel different. It's lighter. It breaks more easily. The dreams become fuzzier. And some nights you lie there feeling your heartbeat, wondering if it's working harder than it should. Or you wake up and forget what day it is for a moment. That little flicker of confusion, it shakes you. You brush it off, but you feel it deep in your gut. Something's changing. And here's the thing no one really tells us. The food you eat before bed can be one of the biggest factors in how your brain and your heart function through the night. It's not just about calories or weight. It's about giving your brain the nutrients it needs to stay sharp and giving your heart the quiet rhythm it needs to rest without strain. For seniors like you and me, a good night's sleep is more than just rest. It's healing. It's restoration. It's how we fight off memory loss, how we lower our risk of stroke, how we keep independence just a little longer. But here's what's really surprising. Some of the best foods to eat before bed are things you've seen 1,000 times. You just might not know the right ones and the right way to have them. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 simple, powerful foods every senior should consider before bed. Foods that are backed by research, easy to find, and incredibly kind to your heart and brain. And just as important, we'll talk about a few foods that may seem healthy, but could be silently working against you when the lights go out. You'll want to watch until the very end, because the last food I'll share is one that most people overlook. But when you understand why it works, it could completely change your nightly routine. So here's what I'd love. If you're ready to care for your body in a gentler, wiser way, especially at night, go ahead and comment heart and mind down below. I'd love to know who's with me on this journey. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we reflect, grow, and age with meaning together. Let's begin. Picture this. An 82-year-old man living out in the quiet outskirts of Arizona. No fancy gym routines, no complicated supplements, just a simple life. He still gardens every morning. He remembers the names and birthdays of all 8 of his grandchildren. And yes, he still drives himself to the local diner every Saturday morning. When someone asked him once how he keeps his mind so sharp and his energy so steady, he didn't hesitate. He said, "A handful of walnuts before bed. That's my secret." Then he smiled and added, "It keeps my brain from falling asleep before I do." Now that might sound too simple, too ordinary, but that's the beauty of it. Walnuts aren't just another nut. They're what scientists call a functional food. Meaning they don't just feed you, they work for you. They're one of the very few plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a powerful type of omega-3 and omega-3s. They're like building blocks for the brain. They help keep your memory stable, your thinking clear, and your emotions balanced. But there's another little secret hiding in those rough brown shells. Melatonin. Walnuts naturally contain melatonin, the hormone your brain needs to know when it's time to rest. And for seniors, when melatonin levels naturally start to drop, that's no small gift. Having just a few walnuts before bed can gently nudge your body into a better sleep rhythm without the need for medication or synthetic sleep aids. Now here's where things get tricky. A lot of older adults avoid nuts at night. Maybe you've been told they're hard to digest, or they might cause bloating, or that eating anything fatty in the evening isn't good. And yes, if you're eating a big pile of salted, roasted nuts from a tin, that could be a problem. But here's the truth. Just 4 to 6 raw or lightly toasted walnuts, plain and unsalted, are not heavy. In fact, when chewed slowly and paired with a warm, soothing drink like chamomile tea, they become gentle, grounding, and nourishing. They don't just sit in your stomach. They feed your brain while you sleep. So tonight, instead of skipping food altogether or reaching for something sugary that might spike your blood sugar, try something different. Just a few walnuts. Not for the crunch, but for the calm they bring. And this isn't just about sleep. This is about protection, longevity, clarity. Because the older we get, the more we realize it's the little habits that add up. And feeding your brain the right way at night might be one of the most powerful things you can do to stay sharp, stay independent, and stay yourself. But your brain isn't the only organ that needs care when the lights go out. Let's talk about something even closer to the center of it all. A food that's been quietly protecting hearts for generations, often without getting the attention it truly deserves. Evelyn was a retired schoolteacher living in a small snowy town in Maine. She had taught for 42 years, second grade. Always the patient, steady hand in the classroom. But after retirement, her nights became restless. The same mind that once calmed 30 children was now keeping her awake at 2 a.m. She'd lie there frustrated, tired but wired. The kind of tired where your bones ache but your brain refuses to slow down. Her daughter, who worked in a natural health store, did some reading. She came over one evening with a bottle of deep red liquid and said, "Mom, try this before bed for a few nights." Evelyn was skeptical, but she tried it. By the end of the week, she said something that caught her daughter off guard. "My dreams feel colorful again." That simple glass, it was tart cherry juice. Now this isn't magic, it's science. Tart cherries, especially the Montmorency variety, are a natural source of melatonin. But unlike pills, they're gentle. They work with your body's rhythm, not against it. They also contain powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. Deep red pigments that don't just make the cherries pretty, they protect. These compounds are anti-inflammatory, especially in the arteries. And when your arteries are inflamed, which happens more with age, your heart has to work harder. Over time, that strain can lead to high blood pressure, fatigue, and even heart damage. Tart cherries help calm that storm. But here's a mistake a lot of people make. They confuse tart cherry juice with regular cherry juice, the kind you see at the store labeled cherry blend or 100% juice. The problem? Most of those are loaded with sugars, watered down, and don't contain the key compounds you actually need. They might taste good, but they're not helping your heart or your sleep. What you want is unsweetened 100% tart cherry juice, ideally Monterey, and just a small amount. 4 ounces is plenty. Not a full glass, not a bedtime chug. Think of it more like a gentle signal to the body, a whisper that says it's time to rest. Some people also enjoy dried tart cherries. A small handful, just 5 or 6 pieces, can offer the same benefits. But be careful. Dried fruits can be calorie-dense, and many are packed with hidden sugar. So, always check the label. What makes tart cherries so special isn't just that they help you fall asleep. It's that they help your heart and your mind recover while you sleep. Your blood vessels relax, your brain resets, and over time, these small changes start adding up. Imagine waking up with a little more clarity, feeling just a touch lighter in your chest, and remembering your dreams again, not as a blur, but as something vivid. That's what Evelyn meant. So, if your nights have felt long, if your dreams have faded, or if your heart feels tired even after rest, maybe it's time to try something as humble as tart cherries. We've talked about walnuts for the brain, tart cherries for the heart. But now, let's talk about something even more essential, because while sleep helps us rest, the brain still needs fuel to keep things running smoothly through the night. Let's look at a surprising food, one you've probably eaten your whole life, yet never realized just how powerful it can be. You might remember this: your parents, maybe even your grandparents, sitting by the fire or at the kitchen table, spoon in hand, slowly enjoying a warm bowl of porridge before bed. No television, no distractions, just the quiet sound of a spoon against a ceramic bowl. Back then it felt like tradition, like something folks did out of routine. But you know what? What it really was? Wisdom. Because that little bowl of oats was doing more than filling the belly. It was preparing the brain for a peaceful night. It was keeping the body balanced until morning. Now here's what most people don't realize. Oats contain complex carbohydrates, which are digested slowly and released steadily into the bloodstream as glucose. Your brain's main source of energy. At night, especially as we age, your brain doesn't stop working. It's processing memories, maintaining your body's rhythms, and repairing itself. And if it doesn't have steady fuel, you get things like restless sleep, early waking, nighttime confusion, or that dizzy, foggy feeling some folks get when they get up too fast in the dark. That's your brain running out of gas. And here's where oats come in. A small serving, just half a cup of cooked oatmeal, can provide your brain with exactly what it needs to stay fueled through the night without spiking your blood sugar. No crash, no jitters, just a steady, calming presence in the background of your body's overnight work. And contrary to what some diets have taught us, carbohydrates at night are not the enemy, especially not these kinds. It's the processed, sugary ones we need to avoid. But slow-digesting carbs like oats. For seniors, they can actually protect the brain, not harm it. Unfortunately, many older adults avoid oats at night because they've been told to cut carbs entirely after dinner. But here's the key. It's not about eating a big, heavy bowl. It's about balance. So, here's a simple way to do it. Take half a cup of rolled oats, not the instant packets, and cook them gently with water or unsweetened almond milk. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, maybe a few crushed walnuts if you like. Skip the sugar, skip the syrup. You don't need it. The natural sweetness of oats combined with warming spices is more than enough. The result, a bowl that doesn't just comfort you, it nourishes you, it grounds you, and it gives your brain exactly what it needs to stay clear and calm until morning. Some folks even say it helps them dream more clearly, that they wake up with less tension, less grogginess, more focus. And that's no surprise, because when the brain isn't hungry, it sleeps deeper. And when the heart isn't strained, it beats easier. This isn't just food, it's a bedtime ritual, a small act of kindness toward your future self. So now we've touched the three essentials: walnuts for the mind, tart cherries for the heart, and oats for the steady fuel that holds it all together. But before we wrap up, let's step back. Let's take a moment to reflect on why these habits matter, not just tonight, but for the rest of your life. Because this isn't about food alone. It's about giving yourself permission to care deeply and deliberately for your aging body. Growing older comes with change. Sometimes it happens slowly, so slow you barely notice it. Other times it hits you all at once. You forget where you put the keys. You walk into a room and can't quite remember why. Your legs feel just a little heavier in the evening. Your sleep, once so dependable, now feels unpredictable. And maybe the hardest part, it feels like certain things are slipping through your fingers. Your memory, your energy, your independence. It's a quiet kind of grief, one that's hard to name but easy to feel. And if you've ever laid awake at night wondering if this is just how it's going to be from now on, you're not alone. But let me ask you something. What if those quiet little choices, the ones that seem too small to matter, were actually your greatest defense? What if the handful of walnuts you take before bed, that small glass of tart cherry juice, that warm bowl of oats, what if they weren't just food, but a form of resistance? Not resistance in a loud, defiant way, but in a gentle, loving way. The kind that says, I may be older, but I'm still here, and I'm still taking care of myself. Because aging doesn't mean surrender. It doesn't mean letting go of health or hope. It means learning to listen to your body, to your needs, and to the quiet ways you can support yourself every day. And tonight you have that choice. So before you go to bed, before the lights go out and the house gets quiet. Pick one, just one. Sit with it, not in a rush, not as a chore. Let it become a habit. Let it become a message to your body, to your heart, to your mind. I haven't forgotten you. I'm still caring for you. I'm still showing up. Because that's what this is really about. Not just adding years to your life, but life to your years. Aging isn't about stepping back. It's about stepping forward, with wisdom, with grace, and with small, powerful choices that tell your body, you still matter. And if no one's told you this in a while, let me say it now. You're doing better than you think. You are not alone. And with just a little love, a little patience, and a few mindful steps, your nights and your days can be richer, calmer, and more beautiful than ever before. Let's take a quiet moment to recap. Tonight we explored 3 foods, simple, natural, and gentle, that can do wonders for your heart, your mind, and your rest. First, we talked about walnuts. A humble handful before bed, rich in plant-based omega-3s, calming to the brain, and a silent supporter of your memory and your sleep. Second, we turned to tart cherries or tart cherry juice. Not just a fruit, but a natural source of melatonin and heart-friendly antioxidants. A small glass, and Evelyn's dreams came back to life. And third, the one many of us grew up with, oats. Slow, steady, grounding fuel for the brain through the night. Comforting, balancing, and a reminder that not all carbs are created equal. These aren't fads. They're not trendy health hacks. They're rituals, simple ways of nourishing your body in the hours when healing truly happens. So let me ask you, which of these do you already enjoy? Or maybe which one are you curious to try for the first time tonight? Have you noticed a difference in how you feel, how you sleep, how you remember when you change what you eat before bed? I'd truly love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Even just one word, oats or walnuts or cherries. Whatever stands out to you, whatever you're walking away with tonight, I read every single message. Your voice matters here. And if something in this video gave you a moment of pause, if it reminded you of something your parents used to do or made you think about your own bedtime in a different way, then maybe you'll consider joining us. Subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Not for noise, but for quiet reflections like this. For heartfelt conversations, for gentle guidance, just like the kind you might get from an old friend who truly cares. Because this journey, this season of life, it's not something you should walk alone. We reflect together, we grow together, and every step, every insight, every kind decision you make for your body, it counts. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope your night is peaceful. I hope your heart feels steady. And I hope your mind feels just a little lighter than it did before. Until next time, stay kind to yourself, and never forget you're still growing.